The relationship between King Charles and Prince Harry has remained one of the most closely watched royal stories in recent years. Every public appearance, every official statement, and every royal decision is analyzed for clues about where things stand between father and son. Now, a recent move by the king is once again sparking intense discussion among royal watchers, with many asking the same question. What does this mean for Harry's future within the royal family? For years, speculation has surrounded the possibility of reconciliation. Despite the distance, despite the interviews, despite the books, and despite the controversies that have dominated headlines, many believed that there would eventually be a path back towards some form of understanding between Prince Harry and the institution he left behind. But recent developments have caused many observers to rethink that assumption. King Charles has always been known for his careful approach to public matters. Unlike political leaders or celebrities who may respond immediately to criticism or controversy, the monarch traditionally communicates through actions rather than words. In royal circles, silence often carries meaning. Decisions speak louder than speeches. Appointments, invitations, appearances, and responsibilities can reveal far more than any official statement. That is why the king's latest move has generated so much attention. Rather than focusing on the past, the monarch appears increasingly focused on securing the future of the crown. Every step taken by the palace in recent months seems designed to reinforce stability, continuity, and a streamlined monarchy centered around working royals who actively support the institution. Many commentators argue that this strategy naturally leaves less room for ambiguity regarding Harry's role. The Duke of Sussex remains one of the most recognizable members of the royal family. His global profile is enormous. Charitable work continues to attract attention, and public interest in his life remains remarkably high. Yet despite that visibility, there is an undeniable difference between being a famous royal figure and being an active participant in the functioning of the monarchy. That distinction may be at the heart of the king's latest decisions. Observers have noted that key royal events increasingly emphasize those who carry out official duties on behalf of the crown. The spotlight continues to shine on senior working royals, particularly Prince William and Princess Catherine, who are widely viewed as central to the institution's future. This focus sends a clear message. The monarchy appears determined to project a sense of continuity, presenting a united team dedicated to public service and constitutional responsibilities. Every carefully planned appearance reinforces that image. Every engagement highlights commitment to duty. And when viewed through that lens, the absence of a formal role for Harry becomes even more noticeable. Of course, this does not necessarily suggest personal hostility between father and son. Family relationships are often far more complicated than public narratives allow. Reports and speculation can only reveal so much. What is visible, however, is the direction in which the institution itself appears to be moving. King Charles inherited a monarchy facing significant challenges. Public expectations have evolved. Media scrutiny remains relentless. Questions about relevance, modernization, and efficiency continue to shape discussions about the royal family's future. In response, the king has consistently emphasized a streamlined approach. This concept has been discussed for years, long before Charles became monarch. The idea centers on a smaller group of senior royals carrying out official duties while reducing the overall size of the institution's public-facing operation. At first glance, this may seem like a simple administrative strategy, but for Prince Harry, it carries major implications. If the monarchy continues along this path, opportunities for a formal return become increasingly limited. A streamlined structure leaves little room for uncertainty. Roles are clearly defined. Responsibilities are concentrated among a select group of working royals. The more this vision takes shape, the more difficult it becomes to imagine where Harry might fit within it. That reality has fueled growing debate among royal commentators. Some believe the king's actions indicate acceptance of the current situation. In this view, Charles is not attempting to punish Harry or erase him from the family's history. Instead, he may simply be acknowledging the practical consequences of choices already made. Harry and Meghan stepped away from their roles as senior working royals several years ago. Since then, they have built independent lives outside the traditional royal framework. Their projects, business ventures, media partnerships, and philanthropic initiatives have largely operated independently of palace structures. From that perspective, the king's recent moves may reflect recognition that the separation is now permanent in institutional terms. Others see a more emotional dimension. They argue that while Charles undoubtedly loves his son, he must also prioritize the crown. The responsibilities of a monarch often require difficult decisions. Personal feelings cannot always dictate public actions. Throughout history, members of royal families have faced situations where duty and family interests collided. Monarchs are expected to place institutional stability above personal preference, even when doing so carries emotional costs. For King Charles, balancing act may be particularly challenging. On one hand, Harry is his son. On the other, Charles serves as the head of an institution that has endured for centuries. Every decision must be weighed not only for its immediate impact, but also for its long-term consequences. That is why even seemingly minor developments attract enormous attention. Royal watchers understand that symbolism matters. A seating arrangement, an invitation list, an official photograph, or the allocation of responsibilities can all carry significance. The monarchy operates in a world where gestures often communicate more effectively than direct statements, and according to many analysts, the king's latest move fits that pattern perfectly. Rather than reopening old debates or revisiting past conflicts, the palace appears focused on the future. The emphasis remains on continuity, stability, and preparation for the next generation. That next generation is impossible to discuss without mentioning Prince William. As heir to the throne, William occupies a uniquely important position. Increasingly, he is viewed as the face of the monarchy's future. His role continues to expand, and public expectations surrounding his eventual reign continue to grow. The king's decisions frequently reflect that reality. Many royal observers believe Charles is actively strengthening the framework that will support William's future kingship. Every move appears designed to ensure a smooth transition whenever that day eventually arrives. If that assessment is correct, it may provide the clearest insight into Harry's future. Because while the Duke of Sussex remains an important member of the family, the institution's priorities appear centered elsewhere. The focus is on continuity. The focus is on succession. And the focus is on building a monarchy that can navigate the challenges of the 21st century. What makes this situation especially fascinating is that it leaves room for multiple interpretations. The king's actions can be seen as practical, strategic, emotional, or all three at once. One thing, however, seems increasingly difficult to ignore. The direction of travel appears clear. Rather than creating pathways for a return to official royal duties, recent developments suggest the monarchy is adapting to a future in which Harry's role remains largely outside the institution's core structure. Whether that changes in the years ahead remains impossible to predict. Royal history is full of surprises. Relationships evolve. Circumstances change. Unexpected events can alter even the most carefully laid plans. At this particular moment, the signals coming from the palace appear remarkably consistent. King Charles is focused on safeguarding the crown, strengthening the monarchy, and preparing for the future. And in doing so, he may have revealed more than ever before about where Prince Harry stands in that future. Even as these developments continue to fuel speculation, perhaps the most important question is not whether Harry will ever return to royal duties, but whether he even wants to. Over the past several years, the Duke of Sussex has repeatedly emphasized his desire to build a life on his own terms. His focus has shifted toward independent projects, charitable initiatives, and his family life in California. While public fascination with the royal connection remains strong, Harry himself has often appeared determined to chart a different path. That reality makes King Charles's latest move even more significant. Rather than attempting to recreate the past, King seems to be accepting the present. The monarchy is moving forward with a clearly defined structure, while Harry continues building a future outside of it. In many ways, both sides appear to be adapting to a new normal. For royal watchers hoping for a dramatic reunion or a sudden return to official duties, that may be disappointing. But from an institutional perspective, clarity can be valuable. Uncertainty often creates speculation, while a consistent direction provides stability. What remains unknown is the future of the personal relationship between father and son. Institutional decisions do not necessarily reflect private emotions. Behind palace walls, conversations may be taking place that the public will never hear. Reconciliation on a family level remains possible even if an official royal role does not. History has shown that family bonds can endure despite public disagreements, and many observers continue to believe that both Charles and Harry would welcome a stronger personal relationship if circumstances allow. Still, when examining the evidence available today, the broader message appears difficult to miss. King Charles is concentrating his efforts on the working monarchy. His actions consistently reinforce the roles of those actively serving the crown. The future being presented to the public is one built around continuity, duty, and the next generation of royal leadership. And that future appears increasingly centered on King Charles, Prince William, and Princess Catherine. As a result, Harry's place seems to be evolving into something different. Not a senior working royal, but a prominent member of the wider royal family whose influence exists largely beyond palace operations. Whether viewed as a practical necessity, a strategic choice, or a reflection of changing realities, the king's latest move speaks volumes. suggests that the chapter of uncertainty may be drawing to a close. The monarchy has chosen its direction, and for Prince Harry, that direction may reveal more about his future than any headline, interview, or royal rumor ever could.